the Texas flag,
I pledge allegiance to thee,
Texas,
one state, under
under
God,
God,
one and indivisible.
I was saying it, I just wasn't saying it loud.
You're gonna make up your own version.
Thank you, everybody. Roll call.
Mayor Morris,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Curtis,
Here.
Alderman Green,
Here.
Alderman Welch,
Here.
Alderman Madray,
Here.
Alderwoman Jones. Here. Mayor, you have a quorum.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for coming. Let me see, I guess we'll go right into the items of discussion. Reminder that no action will be taken. Alderman Madray has done some hard work here on the beach user fee plan, and we'd love to hear what he's found out so far. Go ahead.
I have four.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, what I want to do is read it to you. I guess what started this back in 2020 when we had a town hall meeting, and when we first had the overcrowding on the beach. That's when I got interested and basically decided to run to be as an alderman for the city. I think I was one of the few that actually posted a platform that I run on. And one of those was the beach. So I haven't lost interest in it. And I went on June the 15th, I went to Austin and I met with all the principals of GLO and their officers and their lawyers. Because there's so much I felt there was so much misinformation about the beach. And I wanted to get a good foundation to do this. So that's where we are. So I'm going to read the introduction to this. And all the council people have a copy of this. The introduction is, under the Texas Open Beaches Act, the public is granted free, unrestricted access to all Texas beaches. The Texas Government Land Office, known as the GLO, through the Dune Protection and Beach Access Program, administers and manages this act. Beach user fees are allowed if they meet the requirements of the GLO, Dune Protection and Beach Access Program. Part of the misinformation is that the GLO in the state of Texas understands that in situations like Jamaica Beach, where there's a small city, that the burden of cost to maintain a public beach the way it has to be done, it's not reasonable for a small town to be burdened with that type of cost. And that's why they allow beach user fees. For this particular proposal, for this proposal, public off-beach parking on our streets is not considered. Our streets are narrow. The parking traffic would create undue congestion and be an unreasonable burden on our police force. Not only that, littering, parking, and trespassing would be continuing issues with all of our residents, particularly the beachside residents. Can you imagine having people parking all over your lawn, trespassing on their property? So I ruled out any off-beach parking. This plan is strictly for on-beach parking. The following proposed beach user fee plan with an allocation for free on-beach parking meets the spirit of the Texas Open Beach Act. This is a plan in progress addressing the GLO's requirements to approve and authorize a beach user fee plan for on-beach parking. It normally takes 3 to 6 months to receive GLO approval to put a beach user fee plan in place. And now let's talk about on-beach parking and the free and the fee parking areas. Okay. During my meeting with the GLO in Austin, free parking on the beach from the state park boundary to the Buccaneer Beach Road entrance was discussed and deemed acceptable by the GLO as unrestricted free public access to our beach for this plan. And I've attached a boundary map. Basically, it says something like 22% of the beach would be allocated for free parking, and the rest of the beach, some 170 parking spaces, would be user fee based. And then talking about parking, and I really want to go back to that. And I'm gonna fill that right now. Okay, single road parking remain as it is now. Golf carts may be parked at the water as we do now. I'm not talking about changing anything. Single road parking, you come down with a golf cart, you wanna park it by the canopy or by the water. It's perfectly permissible. The control of traffic and parking on that beach is under the jurisdiction of the Jamaica Beach Police Department. Our police department, our mayor, our council devised a parking plan from experience that our police department can use to control traffic on the beach. Okay, golf carts are classified as vehicles by the GLO. If vehicle parking is the same throughout the beach, it meets the requirements of the Texas Open Beaches Act and also the requirements of the GLO in Austin. Now, what does that mean? This is the only real requirement that they have. What it means is unrestricted public access in both free and user-free areas. That means you treat all people equally. That's it. That's their main equipment. There's a lot of misinformation. The GLO doesn't require amenities. This is their only requirement. Their job is to ensure the Texas Open Beaches Act. That's their only interest. Okay. Like I said, there's a lot of misinformation. For instance, on amenities, the state wants small towns in particular to have amenities for their residents. They realize they can't afford them. So they have a project, they have a program called the Coastal Management Plan. And that plan, a city such as ours can apply for a grant for amenities, if that's what we want. It closed this year on June the 8th. It opens up again every year. But they fund things. They fund new parking lots, they fund bathrooms, they fund showers, they fund all types of things. If the cities want them, they will pay for them. Okay. The proposed fee schedule, based on comparables, I was directed and suggested by GLO that the way to determine this is to base it on comparables here in Galveston. The comparables that they referenced me to was the Galveston Seawall parking, Stewart and Apple Beach. In other words, the fees that I'm proposing are comparable to their fees. Yearly permit of $50. A daily parking fee Friday through Sunday, $15. Daily parking Monday through Thursday, $13. The yearly permits, which in effect would become stickers, would be issued online, in person, or by app. Each yearly permit would provide access for one vehicle and one golf cart by tag number. Daily parking would be paid for by phone app. eligible expenses. It's good to understand, I didn't, when I got involved in this, I didn't realize how extensive it was. The yellow allows beach user fees to be used for the following type of services: signage, public education, handouts, maps, legal postings, law enforcement. Again, their main objective to ensure public safety and compliance with the State Open Beaches Act, and of course the Jamaica Beach rules. Vehicle control and parking. Pickup and disposal of trash, driftwood, and items left overnight. Trash barrels, trash barrel liners, and dumpsters. Beach maintenance, including the maintenance of vehicles used by law enforcement on the beach. Seaweed removal, raking, liability insurance, and administration of the reporting requirements required by the GLO. Projected revenue. This is, I think my projections are conservative. I say this, I was coming home from Lake City tonight, or this afternoon. Really, once you get past Buc-ee's, I never really saw all the development that's happening. All the apartment complexes, all the homes that have been built, Lego Mart, and that's just what we can see from the road. That's our feeders here. We live right here within 180 miles of 10 million people. And I think we have to keep things like this in mind and realize it. This is the feeder. This is the impact on our city for us to maintain a public beach. Okay, the projected first year revenue that I've got is $52,000. What I've got here, what I figured was $25,000 in yearly permits and $27,000 in daily parking. It's just an estimate. The way I looked at it is we have 1,114 water accounts. That to me is how many houses we have. So I figured, well, maybe 500 people would, in our community, would want a beach permit. So I used a number of 500 for a base funding for $25,000. I have also been monitoring the beach to see how many cars and when it's most heavily used. And our beach, basically our beach, we run March to September where we have a lot of people. That's 24 weeks. I just took June through September and I just picked 13 weekends. I took the 13 weekends and I said 3 days, just the weekend days, okay? And I said that's 36 days, and so we get maybe 50 vehicles paid at a $15 fee. That would be $27,000. So gives you guys the feeling of what may be there for the city. Accounting. First up, any questions right from the council?
Finish your statement,
Finish
then we'll
this
decide.
up because I have
Yeah.
more than one question.
Yeah.
Okay. Accounting. The yellow requires a separate special account to be established to receive beach user fee revenue. The special account may not be commingled with any other city accounts. Beach user fees may only be used to pay for beach-related eligible expense. Revenue expense must be accounted for and quarterly reports made to the GLO. What's next? What's next? What I would like to see is for us to conduct a poll of our residents to see if they want a fee-based beach. I would like this poll to reach as many as our residents as possible. I would like to see it, I would consider the city Facebook, social media, and of course JBIC. Concurrently, draft an amendment to the Dune Protection and Beach Plan, provide for beach user fees for city council approval. Discuss during the upcoming city budget meetings, accounting procedures for the special account required for beach user fees and incorporate this thinking in the next year's budget. I believe this proposal will be a positive step to mitigating the overcrowding and unwanted conditions we have now on our beach. The overcrowding and what it has brought will only get worse. We have a beach where people can park on. And now we have the state park, more and more people are gonna be aware that the people coming here and the demand for our beach is double. I will say the next year, it's fair to say it will double. And our problems will double. This is our opportunity to fund a cleaner, well-maintained beach that our community can be proud of. Thank you for your consideration. That's it.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I'm gonna open the floor. I guess we'll have some discussion. I know I want to keep some order to this. Do you want to ask any questions?
I don't wanna go first, so I leave still wanna form my questions, so we could move on for,
I have a few questions, and these aren't meant to be an attack or anything, these are just things that I looked at and, well, we better have a plan for that because we're gonna get asked about it. So my first question, and I know this is like a sore point for everybody, are short-term rentals, are those properties gonna be allowed to buy an annual pass and give it to the renters? I mean, you don't need an answer, it's just a thing.
That's a thing that needs to be resolved.
Thing that needs to be resolved. And do we really need stickers? You have it here that you have the phone app. Well, the phone app could be used to show your right to park, and there could be even some sort of QR code that the police can just scan and say, okay, they're valid, they can go about their business. I think the stickers is just gonna create a little bit of a headache for us, administration wise. Again, not saying it's wrong, it's just something to think about. I had another one, but it slipped my brain. Going on down the line, maybe it'll come back to me.
I'll make notes of what you're saying, for sure.
I think that's kind of part of what I was getting on, what's next, is for us to develop this plan, and I realized, Dave, that, you know, it's always in the details.
Yeah. It is.
But I would add to this on the money too, and I didn't say this, and I asked this to council. Do you really want to keep carrying the cost and the burden of paying for this public beach without any other funding?
We would love.
And raising taxes and maybe face 3 years from now to raise the property taxes to pay for it?
We would love to have a way to pay for a lot of this.
Yeah.
We're looking for that. And you never know, this could be one of the options to do it. But as you said, we've got a lot of boxes to check. Either one of you two want to say anything?
We had raised taxes in several years. Most years, we lower our tax rate. And this is gonna involve a lot of employees. So all those employees are gonna need insurance, and they're gonna need, health. And they're gonna need to have them for 3 months. It's kinda like trying to find, lifeguards for the pool.
Lifeguards
You're not
are not
gonna find them.
required.
Pardon?
Lifeguards are not
I
required.
didn't say, I said it's like.
Oh, similar to the pool.
Similar to the pool, it's like trying to find help for a 3 month stint. It's not always easy. So, I mean, that amount of money may look like a lot until you start paying people to check permits and a gate for people to, you know, show their permits. And I would ask probably the police chief what kind of burden it would put on him.
Cindy, Alderman Jones?
So the, part of the misinformation that probably has been out there is that we have to have amenities. We don't have to have amenities.
No, we do not.
So we don't have to have
They
bathrooms.
would love us to have them, and there are programs that we can apply if we want and get funding for them. Cities, in some cases, I don't wanna go there, but no, it's not an absolute requirement at all. That carrot's been used, but no.
Okay. Anything else?
Not this minute.
I've got lots of questions and concerns, but what it boils down to is we're dealing with overcrowding. That's our main issue and problem, correct? Well, I've been up and down the Texas coastline and around. I don't think $15 access fee is gonna alleviate our problem. I think people are gonna be happy to pay the $15 to come drive on our beach, park, and spend the day. I realize we have a problem here, however, I do not support this as a solution. I do not think it's going to alleviate our overall problem. That's where I stand on it.
The, it says, beach user fees are allowed if they meet the requirements of the GLO. What are those requirements? And I think that's
Requirements
where.
are just the eligible expenses.
Okay.
That's all they are. In other words, they're required what they will pay for.
Okay.
And the other requirement is the most simple, unrestricted access to the public to the beach. Unrestricted.
Well, we have that now. Yeah. The other, you know, we've worked hard with the city council.
The police chief is going.
Yeah,
You
you
might have
got
got a call.
excuse me.
We worked hard. We went down from 500 cars, 400 to 500 cars, any given weekend. And we worked hard as a city council and came up with what we have. Now we're at a maximum of 175 cars and no more.
Where do you see that 175?
Just count parking places.
I got a different account.
Okay. What count did you get?
I've got 60 plus 140.
Okay.
60 on one side and 140 on the other side. By actual count.
Okay, so even when you go all the way down where we've expanded it, you went down beyond.
I didn't even count those.
Okay, well.
I know where we, I know that we removed the sign and we have a shorter turnaround sign.
I can tell you, by measuring it out and what they require, 15 feet.
15 feet, yeah.
For every car, there's 175 spaces.
Yeah, that multiplies that way, but if you go down there and actually count them.
I'm just saying, so even if it's 200 cars, but what catches my ear is I'm always looking for ways to fund things.
That's it.
I just wanna make sure we're not chasing our tails.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I mean, I don't know where I stand on this because I still gotta look at a lot of the details. And yes, we love what you came up with, but at the same time, we've heard completely different, talking to GLO for years.
I
So-
can't answer that.
Yeah, so that's, you know, we'll
This is being recorded, I'm sure they'll be interested in it.
yeah, and so we'll definitely be looking for.
So there we are, I mean, it's
clarification.
gonna come to a head, even these
Yeah.
guys have not work with you fairly. And that means they're not gonna work with me in good faith. They have not dealt with me in good faith.
GLO just like with any, TDM, FEMA, it's always something else, and, hopefully we can.
I haven't heard it.
Hopefully we can come up, and come up with, we'll make everybody happy for sure.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
to me, it's just a real opportunity to get some decent funding, a funding stream, and also better partner with the GLO, because there are other things on the horizon with
Right.
GLO, such as the beach nourishment.
Yeah,
We're on the cusp of getting beach nourishment.
we've already got that approved, we just gotta wait for them to move down,
It's approved in terms of what?
the permitting.
I know that we've been given permitting, but I don't believe that the engineering has been approved and released.
Well, you don't believe it or you know it?
I don't know, I will find out.
Okay.
I know that I know from talking with the director of that program, okay, that absolutely, that the state or the federal government has approved it, where the money's coming from, to the state. They have approved it. Corps of Engineers have signed the permit, but now GLO is in the process of reviewing,
And what we're planning on is when they get to the state park, they will include us also. That's our hope and what we're shooting for.
like I say, again, and this is being
Kind of
recorded.
Yeah, we gotta get back on.
We're kind of off
Yeah, we gotta get
topic.
all back on topic, but yes, we'll discuss that later.
Okay.
From what we're talking about here. Matter of fact, it can go on.
Yeah, it would probably be good to get them down here and let them tell us about it.
Exactly. Any other questions on item number 5.1? Any other concerns? Okay, moving on, to 5.3, a discussion about 2023 budgetary wish list. And this could be, or this is not about what we still have to do, any city ordinances, any codes, anything like this. This is strictly projects we're wanting to put in our budget and see about getting budgetary. Robert has the illness right now, but we're hoping to have him here because we're gonna have to draw a line between what is gonna be budgetary and what we're gonna try to get granting for. And there again, this is where we're gonna have to all work together is, if we budget something and then we end up getting a grant for it, so we have to stay, where we can, stay flexible on that. Anybody have any suggestions? I mean, I've got a ton, but I want to hear everybody else's first. Sir? Yes.
We've had residents ask for a splash pad in the park because the pool was never open. And they want something for the kiddos to cool off and instead of, I don't know how we would do that or what we would accomplish. Maybe we reclaim some of that concrete from the parking lot and use that. I don't know, but it was brought up and I think it's not a half bad idea.
Well, and one of the other things is to kind of go with that, we're talking about pickleball, splash pad, I've heard several other things, community garden, walking area, there could be a lot of things if we can go in and see about purchasing those lots besides the lower lots.
Those would be great.
And I know we would like to see about getting some help with that, with some granting. And Texas Wildlife, or any other state, avenue where we can, that would be nice, and then we could probably include that splash pad. Another thing we might consider is a new event center. you know, AC Event Center.
In a place we can have meetings and not sweat to death.
Yes.
That'd be lovely.
You know, where people can have wedding receptions, parties, whatever. So that's some things I'd like for us to look at. One of my big desires is to have a marine division with a couple of boat lifts is down there at the wastewater treatment facility. And have fire boats down there and police boats, the jet skis, and a small little office warehouse for them to keep some of their equipment and things down there. And we redo the bulkhead, redo the fencing at that time around the wastewater treatment facility. There again, I know we're gonna be able to get some of that in granting, but I think there's gonna be some of it we're gonna have to put in the budget and do a budgetary thing, but I think that would be awesome. Cause it's 20-25 minutes, you know, by the time you get a call, they get to here, they get the boat, they get to the marina to the bay. That's some crucial time. And if we can cut that time down by 80-85%, I think we've done our citizens and community a favor.
Still keep the regular level here, so it's good.
Oh, yeah, so you can go to the
Both
beach,
ways.
right, if you go to the beach, right. Anything else, anyone? Yes, ma'am.
I put out and just asked people for recommendations on my Facebook page, and they, 48 people commented. And a lot of these comments are just to maintain what we have and to make things more beautiful, the entryways. And for instance, last year, we set aside money for security cameras, and I've not heard any follow-up with that.
You want me to answer that?
Yeah,
Okay, the security cameras, we're working on granting to help with that, so we could reallocate that budgetary item.
I see.
We're real close to getting that. And then the beautification, that is something that I've asked for years, is the beautification at our entries. Well, as everybody knows, we couldn't do anything till the state finished it. And now they're about done. Something that I'm really looking forward to, another item, is the walkway, actually from all the way down by JB Food Store, across 3005, and then down Buccaneer there. I'd like to expand that. We're looking at using some of the funds we already have to expand the road into a walkway, get another 6 feet or so, and go all the way to Jamaica Beach Road, and then from Jamaica Beach Road to the beach, we can get about another 4 to 5 feet out of that, is get that asphalted. So we would basically be expanding that and just making that a lot safer to go. I don't like the curbs. I don't like having to walk around flower beds. I see a lot of issues there that I'd like to get addressed in the beautification of that. Rather we make it part of the street, make it part of the flower beds, and put some type of material down that people can walk barefooted on or in sandals, not big clumpy rock or anything, but something that's decent. I'd really like, that's something that I've been talking about. Most everybody here has heard me say that at some point. It's just when was gonna be the time for that. And I think this fall or next spring we'd like to get it done by then. That's one of my wish list items and one of my many. I'm sorry, go ahead. You got some other things, I'm sure.
Thank you. Several people have commented about water pipe leaks still. And are we still repairing those?
Well, that falls under items that are still left to do. But I can answer, yes, most all of them have been fixed.
Okay, there's something that's on Mansville, but it's still just running into just fresh water.
That was
going
fixed
into the
this
ditches.
Saturday.
This Saturday,
Yep.
that's great, I'll let them know. Let's see. And the signs and speed limit signs.
That's part of our beautification. It's something that we're gonna get all new of those signs. What's been the issue, the signs that got blew down, is the T brackets, the U brackets that hold them on, needed to be a little taller. Well, the taller ones are on back order, and that's what we've been waiting for. We've got the signs, we're waiting to get them installed. And then we're going to also, beyond that is, work on repositioning a lot of our speed limit signs, along with, I've talked to Brad several times, is I want, smile, be happy. I mean, wave at your neighbor. I mean, I want double back signs, where we have a speed limit sign, but on the back side of that sign's another sign. So we don't get, I don't want sign clutter.
I don't want signs.
Yeah, I don't want a bunch of sign clutter, but I do want to maximize the area we have existing.
Okay, and, let's see, someone's talking about Montego Way repaved because after utilities tore up the gas line, tore up the road installing gas lines.
Trying to think, Montego Way,
I'm just going by what,
okay, we'll have to look at that.
okay, and, let's see,
Is that on? There's gonna be, we're looking at several of the roads, and I think, was Montego Way one of them? It wasn't, okay. We'll get that looked at, because they're looking for more roads to do with the money we have already. So I'll definitely make.
and, I would appreciate just some more follow-up with some of the other things that, have been planned. I haven't heard any follow-up about our COPS program, our CERT program, and what's been accomplished. I haven't heard any follow-up about that in a while, so I would appreciate more follow-up that way. And, so that way we know things are getting done.
I think most people are seeing it done. I get compliments all the time. Great job, thanks for doing the water line, or thanks for this, or thanks for that. I get a lot of that in the community.
Well, I'd like to hear what the city's doing.
Okay.
Okay,
Anyone else? Yes, sir?
Just a couple of things, budgetary things, in my mind, it's always a priority. Where we spend our money, what's important. Common sense. Two things. One is, I think we should consider an assessment of waste treatment plant. I'm not, and never will, in this case, lean towards having some engineering company come in here and paying them a fortune to do it. You with me? Because wastewater treatment plants, they're very important, they're very complex, but they're not rocket scientists. I'm an engineer. I know this, I've built them. So, but we do need to look at these things, common sense approach, maybe somehow do some assessment down there and begin to figure out what's gonna cost and what we should do. Common sense approach. The second thing is West Beach Road. Have we given any thought about paving it?
No, not that I'm aware of.
It's one of the few, it's perhaps the only road in the law that's not paved.
As far as I know.
And we have to maintain it and different things. I just think perhaps we ought to consider that as an item. Prior to, not just, what I mean, we only have so much money, right?
Right.
And I haven't heard anything about Marcy's pickle thing. court.
Well, that's part of the park. We put lump all that into our new park.
I'm not really, that's not a really big thing for me, I just thought I'd mention it. My two things is, but my perception and my thoughts are that we've made some good progress with the water system. We have one more important leg, two more important legs of that to complete. We also need to pay for the engineering, get the engineering started for the fourth stage. And get some type of cost estimate for that really, what we're doing there. So we have, priority-wise in my mind is, let's stay on the water systems. These are basic infrastructure. for
Do you
community.
recall what the cost is on those two projects? The two do you recall what the two costs are on those?
I do, but, I know the engineering, I think at one time was $48,000,
For the water?
just for the next phase.
No. Try 350,000.
No, I'm not talking about installing it,
Yeah, okay, yeah.
I'm talking about the engineering.
Yeah.
See, the engineering, I don't think it's been done for that.
You recall? I thought it had been. Yeah, I thought all that had been.
It has been, so
Yes.
the fourth one is engineered. Okay, I wasn't aware of that, I heard one time
And
that it
phase-
wasn't engineered.
Phase 5 is like 450,000.
Phase 5, yeah,
I mean,
so is 5 has been engineered as well, Brad?
I don't think so, sir.
But you're saying phase 4 has been engineered and paid for?
Yes.
Okay. So anyway, we got that, and of course the way, these are basic infrastructure things.
Right.
So that's and West Road. That's
Okay.
only my three things.
Okay. Anyone else?
Absolutely. Wanna do it first, second? Alright, I dream big. Alright, some of these things are redundant, they've been mentioned, but they're on my list. Alright, I'm still pushing infrastructure. The wastewater treatment plant being one of the major ones, we're operating at 50% capacity. Well, we got more than 50% residents down anymore. We gotta get on top of that before it fails on us. I'd like to continue the water line replacement projects to a tune of over $600,000 as the next two phases. Continue with the road replacement projects. We gotta get on top of code enforcement. Saying it again. Drainage cleaning program.
Yep, drainage, that was a good one.
One thing about that, I'm gonna side note, I do not wanna end up at Sea Isle. I don't know if you guys have been out there, but when they did a basic neighborhood drainage clean, they're 6 foot deep. It's ludicrous. I wanna do a minimal invasion, clean out and blow out of the culverts. The diversionary canal, the main one that runs here, out to the marina, we just spent a ton of money to have it mowed again. It's constant maintenance. We need to find a permanent fix. We're just throwing money away on that one, in my opinion. We've budgeted for this billboard, this marquee out front, I wanna say 4 or 5 years now. We gotta figure out something with that. Beautification's getting really high on my list. I've been in the city a long time. The city needs love, front to back, top to bottom. We need to get with JBIC and get something done. It's all of our responsibility. I'm disappointed driving around the state of our city right now. And here's my big daydream, is the park expansion project that Mr. Welch and Miss Lindley worked on years ago. It's about 4 or 5 lots adjoining the park. God, I'd love to be a part of purchasing that and keeping more green space in the village. That would be a wonderful addition to leave behind. So those are my big ones. I have lots of little ones, but I don't think it's worth going through those right now.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, let's move on to item number 5.4. Discussion on upcoming fiscal year 2022-2023 annual budget. Ms. Debbie.
gave everybody a copy of last year's budget, so you can kind of see where we were standing on what we budgeted last year for some projects. And, you know, some of the projects that we did budget for were completed, you know, the fire hydrants. We still got a bid out to get replaced, 2 new ones, but that project was completed. All of them are functional, working. I think maybe there's one. Mailboxes got completed. The roads are, what was on the project, I think were completed. So the water lines, I know we still have 2 phases left, which is approximately a little over 600,000. We can try to work on, I just need to know what your top priorities were. You know, I know pickleball, well, we didn't spend money on pickleball, but we spent over 50,000 on new playground equipment this year, okay? So that was a chunk. So I was really, just to kinda need to know where you guys wanted me to focus on finding somebody. I know the wastewater plant, hopefully Robert, he's big into looking for some grants on that, but that's one of his top priorities too. So hopefully he can work on that to find some monies for that wastewater treatment plant. So, you know, what I'm hearing from you guys, you want money for a pickleball court, or expand the park, you want water line projects, beautification. You know, the palm trees are very expensive. If you want to replace a palm tree, what are they, about 6,000 a piece, or what would we figure?
That's rough number, good.
I mean, how many do you think you're gonna need? Now, Buccaneer, you know, I know I spent probably, I don't know, 6,000 to cut some down and have the stumps grinded, so that, I mean, that's costed, I need to kind of, was not budgeted, so I just kinda need to know, give me a budget, you can focus on what topics you want, and I'll try to see what I can do about putting this money together.
So
No.
Mayor, do we do a goal setting, priority setting session?
It's priority.
Why don't we shoot for next, first month
Well,
meeting?
well, what I've got here, my next topic was, I need to know some dates that you guys wanna actually sit down. I mean, I can put together a rough budget. You know, there's some items that were under budget on, there's a couple of few that were over budget on. I know the phone system, the internet system's over budget because we upgraded our internet speed after the budget, so of course that's gonna be more expensive that I'll adjust for this coming year. So there's a few things that I need to adjust coming into, now that I've been here long enough to see what the expenditures are, I can better deal with the budget a little better than just a few months to put the budget together. But I need to know some budget workshops that y'all want to sit down and get nitty gritty and figure out what we, you know, where we're gonna find some money to pay for some of these projects that y'all want.
Well, let's get our priorities, or, you know, numbered out, and so we can give you a better.
Yeah, we do you a disservice unless we set the priorities first.
Yeah. So,
I mean, I can create a new budget line item for whatever project you wanna, you know, what you wanna, you know, if we wanna try to figure out where we're gonna find the money for the next phase of the water line project.
right,
You know, I can try to work with what we've got to see if we can at least do that phase,
right.
and then we just have one last phase.
I have one question. She mentioned the closeout of the roads. Who closed out? In terms of what?
They
And the
had,
roads are done, right?
that was on their list.
So that portion is closed out. Can we get a financial, can we get a report on cost where we are? I mean, we save money, we got money left over?
Yeah, we have money left over, and it's being allocated on the streets that we've thought of high priority. And one of them, we're gonna look at Montego Way and, Jamaica Beach West Road, we're gonna look at, with some of that money.
There's always been a list since they started, that if there was monies left over, then it would just simply go to the next in each street, so there's always been a backup list in play.
So you guys have decided that instead of closing that out and putting the savings back into the city, you're gonna do more streets?
We can't put savings back in, it was
Well,
money.
money we're not gonna spend, we had 300 and some odd.
It's use it or lose it.
Yeah.
County
It's
matching funds.
County
Use it or
matching
lose it.
funds.
It's county matching.
Yeah, we actually, our part was 423,000, so,
So,
If we don't use it, we don't get it back.
Right.
right.
Thank you.
so we're on top of that.
It's matching funds, David, but it was an established amount of matching funds. So if our match goes down, this money we don't have to pay them.
Right, but why would we?
We had budgeted this in our budget.
Right, but why would we, I don't think there's anybody up here that would wanna give that, even money we
I don't wanna
allocate.
give it back, I don't wanna pay for it.
Well, you don't pay 100% of it, at least they will pay, they'll match whatever that road, I mean, it's kind of
Yeah.
50/50.
Well, we would rather have the matching funds and improve the city than to save it and put the money in the bank. We'd rather use it. So that's what we're working on in the process. Okay, yes,
One more.
ma'am.
And that's, a more practical solution for drainage for beachcomber.
Okay,
What was that?
put that down.
What was that?
Drainage for beachcomber.
Okay.
Okay,
Also, I'd like to, make sure everybody knows, anyone out there, anyone can contact us. It's not hard to contact us. Most all of our citizens see most of us on a daily basis. We all have emails. We're all listed on our website. And we all have phone numbers. So it's not like we're hiding from anyone. If you'd like to talk about something, contact one of us. We have a phone number. We have phones up here at City Hall that anyone can call and ask for, one of the directors and speak to whoever. And we can get things taken care of. Other than that, that's all I got. Meeting adjourned.